Hello everyone, I'm your analytical cyber new type, the Dapper Bard, and today we are looking at Witch from Mercury episode 14. I had low expectations before watching this episode, and even those couldn't be met. Frankly, I didn't like this episode, and the ending was the straw that broke the camel's back. I nearly quit doing these reviews because of the ending of this episode. I get the feeling that people will be storming my comments with, "This is the best one ever!" And those people can like this episode all they want. For the rest of us, let's break down why this episode is the worst one yet. This episode opens with Lady Prospera attempting to convince Miorine to continue her father's work on Quiet Zero. In addition to that, she reveals that it is a program that can control technology to some extent, which reminds me of the GW system from Metal Gear Solid 2. Good to know they still can't come up with original ideas in this series. And don't worry, it's not the only one they stole. Miorine decides to help because Prospera tells her that Mio's mother was part of the project before she died, and that Suletta is unwittingly part of the project as well. Hey, at least we have the beginnings of a plot in episode 14! After the title sequence, we cut to Earth House trying to sell goat milk at the Academy open house. We then cut to Nika and Suletta. Nika talks about her backstory. This means she'll probably die in a future episode. As it turns out, she was an orphan who liked to tinker with tech. When she met Suletta, Nika thought that Suletta might be a kindred spirit. It is also revealed that the two of them lied to the rest of Earth House by hiding how Nika got hurt. After that, Elan shows up to try to seduce Suletta again, and once more he is interrupted by Sophie. Elan and Noria also have a brief talk where they reinforce that they don't like each other. Sophie and Suletta talk a little, and Sophie says that she wants her stake in the duel to be Suletta becoming her real sister. Yes, she is serious. And yes, things have gotten very dumb in this show. We also see Lada Neal talking to the Jaturk students and telling them that he'll be leaving the school to run the company. However, first, he wants to avenge his brother by beating Suletta. I get the feeling this scene was designed to make us care about Guel's brother. But to be honest, who cares? It's not like he was that important of a character up until this point. And we all know he can't beat Suletta, so the only reason we would even care about Guel's brother is because we care about Guel. But since Guel isn't actually there to watch his brother get his ass kicked, it's not going to have the emotional impact the writers would hope. Suletta is called away to join the giant robot Royal Rumble exhibition show that they are doing at the school. We see several characters say their names and their suit names. Hey, it only took 14 episodes, but they did it. Good for you, writers! Maybe in 14 more episodes, we can have a fight scene that doesn't remind me of those Transformers movies. All those who said their names go off to fight each other, while all the other jobbers just are there to get beaten up. Guel's brother and one of Shattuck's angels go after Suletta, as Choo-Choo hunts down one of the other members of Shattuck's angels. It doesn't really matter who goes after who, because none of this actually matters to the main story. We know nobody can actually hurt Suletta, and Choo-Choo is forgotten about relatively early in the battle. Obviously, anyone not in a Gundam doesn't last too long, but that doesn't matter because Noria and Sophie show up to murder everyone. One of the casualties in the fight is Lada Neal, who remains dying in his unit for the rest of the episode. They use their ballistic weapons to kill several students and to force Suletta into a real duel. In addition to that, Sophie and Noria just start wrecking the place, because it's kind of what they do. Meanwhile, Shattuck makes his move, and some of his angels take Shattuck's father by gunpoint. People start panicking, and faceless pilots get gunned down left and right. As the battle progresses, Elan and Noria fight and taunt each other. It's fine, but not conclusive, because that's how this series works. Suletta and Sophie continue their battle, and Sophie starts pushing herself beyond her limits. Sophie also uses her Gund bits to hold her own in this fight against the Ariel. I'm glad the creators of the show remembered that the Lefrith units have Gund bits. Good for you, writers. As Sophie pushes herself, she gets more and more frantic with her words and actions. However, the battle is interrupted by returning to Prospera, who gets confronted by her assistant about the fate of Aerie. You remember her from the prologue? She admits that she put her mind into the body of the Ariel so that it can become the core or basis of the Quiet Zero program. A mad scientist parent putting souls inside robots and having their child pilot it for some sort of nefarious plan? Why, that's the plot of Evangelion! Yeah, great, they ripped off Neon Genesis Evangelion. Congratulations, series. You're 25 years late on that, but hey, you did it. Then again, you don't even have to leave the Gundam franchise to find plots very similar to this. In Mobile Suit Gundam The Blue Destiny, the exam system of the Blue Destiny units is powered by the soul of a new type. It's a key plot point. And in Iron-Blooded Orphans, there's also a similar plot point that plays out at the end of Season 1 and as an aspect of Season 2. So, yeah, the series is even just ripping off other Gundams, which I guess a lot of Gundams do that, but still, you could come up with something more original than this. Also, it's kind of sad that everyone watching the show figured out that Eri was part of the Ariel early in Season 1, and we had to wait this long for the series to confirm what we already know. Due to this, I can almost guess the ending of this series. It probably involves Suletta having to destroy the Ariel in order to prevent the Quiet Zero system from taking over all the technology and destroying humanity. However, let's not get off track right now. Let's continue our breakdown. The battle between Sophie and Suletta concludes with Sophie realizing the person she wants to fight is Eri, not Suletta. And then she dies from the gun system. We then have Suletta dealing with her death, plus the thought that the Ariel might actually be a weapon. Then she does the most insulting thing possible. She reminds herself that she was right all along and there's nothing to worry about. Our Mary Sue has gone from needing others to make her feel better to being able to do it herself. They had the chance to give Suletta some development, challenge her point of view, maybe move the show forward in an interesting way. And once again, they did what they always do. Nothing! They threw away any chance of making a good show and interesting characters whenever they can. What the hell happened to the writing from Prologue? The series must have been written by ChatGPT because this level of incompetence doesn't feel human. I now know there is no hope for this series, and I'm not going to treat it like anything else I review. As you may have noticed, this has been a lengthy breakdown rather than my standard review format. I'm putting aside my rubric because this show needs much deeper analysis and is difficult to review with an academic set of standards. The show has proven time and again that the writers have no idea what they're doing. Sophie's death loses all meaning if Suletta doesn't grow from it. We have a rip-off superweapon that doesn't feel like a threat. We still know almost nothing about the characters, and outside of flashy fights, there's nothing to keep the viewer's interest going. Plot, storytelling, characters, it's all a mess. So let's just watch this dumpster fire burn. And until next time, I'll see you at the tavern.